going into a place that no team has won yet this year?
Yeah, I mean it's a good point. They're a good team. They resemble more the teams that I'm accustomed to playing at Oregon. In terms of the good teams that Dana Altman has had there since I've been in the Pac-12, and they play with a good level of aggression. They have great athletes. They have a good inside presence, one of the best inside players in our league. They have a great perimeter shooting, so they check a lot of boxes. They're a very good basketball team.
Coach, you guys have been out-rebounded in every conference game so far. I know Meeks is out, and you guys do have a shorter lineup, but how do you go about tackling that? Is it effort? Is it technique? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean it is what it is. With that, that stat, I don't see that dramatically changing between now and the end of the season. I think that's a byproduct of how we need to play in the lineups that that we're putting on the floor. It's just we need to make up for not having the size that some of the other programs have in our conference with our speed and our quickness. So what we give up in some areas, we try and gain in others.
You have to squeeze out as much as you can to achieve your goals. So where do you think that there's the most opportunity to extract more from you?
I just think continuing to, I would say, if you're asking me right now, probably the continued development of the bench. And when I say that, I think I liked what I saw from Bryant and his efforts, and getting Sean Phillips going again. Kamari Lands is someone that I think could be very important for us the second half of the season. I think you haven't seen anything like what I've seen from him, in the summer and leading into the season, and it hasn't exactly happened for him yet, but I think there's still time. And so I if you're asking me, I would say that, and just the continued growth amongst the core players, just continuing to learn, playing together, building that chemistry, the cohesiveness that you're starting to see at times. The guys are really gelling on the floor, offensively in particular, trusting each other, sharing the ball. So that, and over the last month, has, from the Northwestern game before Christmas to now, in that one area, the growth has been significant, and I think it still could get better.
How about how Jose has performed? It seems like in the last handful of games, he went through that little slump there, but now he's figured it out. He's working well with his team. He's been an energy guy.
Yeah, he's he knows how to play. He's an extremely high IQ guy. Understands his game, really has great understanding of who he is as a player and what he brings. So he's mature, he's older, so it's great for our team, and he's different. He's unique in ways that we could utilize his skill set on offense to help us score the basketball. He's the one. I mean, we don't throw it inside very often, and that's just how our roster is built. Like, we threw it in a lot more last year, and I think Sean's injury had something to do with that, and hopefully we could see him grow and develop. But Jose gives us the opportunity at his position to strategically get him the ball in high percentage areas to get a shot in the lane.
You talk about Sean and his injury, and earlier in the season you talked about him kind of coming back on a minutes restriction. Is he still working through that minutes restriction? Is it something where he still has to earn his minutes back?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sean is just, it's going to depend game to game. I think this is a game that we need Sean. You're playing a guy like Dante, as big as he is. He's our most physical presence we have on the roster, and so really need him to step up in this game, certainly. And there's no extreme pressure on Sean. Like, he's our youngest player. I think he's going to get better and better. I think it's going to be game to game with how things go. Does he avoid foul trouble and other things that would prevent him from getting more minutes? So it's just it'll kind of be game to game with him.
To be sitting in a tie for first about a third of the way through conference play, and to feel like you largely played winning games in those two losses, even, is that enough of a sample size for you to feel good and believe that you guys can be there?
Just, I think, where everyone is in the standings, you can never be comfortable. So if you say to yourself, "Oh, we're in good shape right now," then look out. So I always have my guard up as we go through the season and want to. But you have to feel okay. Having won 2 road games, true road games, playing some good teams. The Mountains are good this year. you know, the LA's here is never easy. So we played some challenging games and been able to, you know, to stay right now at the moment at the top of the standings. So we just got to keep fighting and keep battling to stay there.
You talked before about keeping your composure, and obviously the USC game, you guys did a phenomenal job of that. I think the guys can look back on that and say, gosh, look how good we can be if we do just focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, we, you know, I think we showed quite a bit more maturity and discipline in that game, and just focused on playing basketball and executing. And you know, it was a beautiful thing to watch at times. You know, just seeing the crowd like that, seeing the student section like that, just getting that energy, feeding off it. The way we finished the first half with the explosive plays that we made, and just seeing the crowd get juiced, you know, watching our guys perform, watching Frankie dunk it, watching Jemiah in the open floor. It's just, it's exciting when we're playing that kind of basketball.
Just having that composure kind of stem from knowing that you guys got to maximize your schedule moving forward to, you know, to get to the tournament and maximize your resume. Does that kind of stem from that?
I just think that it was the ultimate brutal wake-up call. Like, to lose the way we did, knowing, you know, that we felt, you know, we put forth a winning basketball performance, but things outside of basketball prevented us from winning the game. It forced everyone to just say, like, all right, guys, you know, we're not talking to officials anymore. We're not talking to our opponent. Let's just, you know, talk to each other. Now, could we be perfect in that regard the rest of the way? I mean, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But, like, I do know that that was a focal point of our conversations internally, you know, going into the USC game.
I saw that Frankie talked to Bryant on the court right after he got his technical, and it seems like people are kind of rallying around him a little bit as a leader at this point. What are the attributes that you see that make him that guy?
Yeah, he's just, I think, at peace with himself and in a really good space with his confidence and his production. The more you produce and play well, you have more ability to lead, and people will generally listen to you more. But I think, like, even Frankie's got, you know, he's smart about what he does. Like, he reacted to a call, I think, during the USC game, and then as he went towards the ref, he put a big smile on his face and started, you know, communicating that way. So, like, just how you handle those situations, I think he's got a really good feel. So I mean, I need more of that. You know, we need more, you know, internal, you know, leadership on the floor, and I think Frankie has put himself in a position to have the respect of the coaching staff and his teammates to do that.
How do you try to stoke that, develop that more, given all your personal experience?
I just try and, you know, communicate with him and just encourage him to be a great leader and a point guard, and I think we've built a very strong connection, him and I, and I just have a ton of respect for who he's become, you know, as a basketball player, and you know, who he is as a person. He's a great kid, and so you know, our relationship is very strong, and I'm hopeful that he continues to take steps and want to be more than just someone that's out there playing basketball. Like, he's actually trying to run our team on the floor. He's a coach on the floor, and he's trying to help his teammates.
Coach, obviously the premier matchup this week is that night in Eugene. Have you given any thought towards that matchup against Oregon State?
Our general philosophy is to focus on the opponent that is right in front of us, and to give that opponent our full attention. And then, you know, I mean, the guys understand that we're going to play 2 on the road, and there's 2 games out there, 2 opportunities, but you know, all our energy and concentration right now is with Oregon.
Coach, would you say with Frankie's, I mean, to kind of piggyback off Frankie's leadership, but because I know I asked you earlier in the season, I mean, Jose coming in late, kind of had to get used to the guy, having a veteran like Frankie help. Obviously, Adam being cleared and just kind of working his way into the offense. But do you feel that because of Frankie's leadership, that's why it seemed pretty seamless for both of those guys?
Yeah, I think there's something to that, and it's just, you know, I talked a lot about trust, and kind of when we were struggling and getting on the same page and using terms like that. It's just, you know, those guys are all, you know, alpha type guys, you know, so you have like Adam, you have, you know, very productive players, very good careers, Jose, Frankie. It just takes some time for all those guys to find their place and find their voice in the leadership process.
I'm the USC game, Coach, Jemiah came in and said, defense really is good offense. When you guys are good on defense, you guys get out in transition, and that's what we love to do. He said he doesn't want to set up in a half-court offense, but when you guys are forced to set up in a half-court offense, what are those looks that you're going for? How are you trying to be more successful in that area?
I think you're trying to just evaluate, game to game, like who's got a hot hand, who can we get the ball to that's playing well, who hasn't had a shot in a number of possessions that, can we get this guy a shot and get him going? I think it's been for us, Frankie, Jemiah kind of breaking guys down off the dribble to hit the paint, make plays. Adam coming off screens, looking to shoot the basketball. Jose in a variety of ways to get the ball in his hands. Good things have happened for us. Zoe just kind of roaming and playing off all those guys. I mean, that's been like our best offensive formula lately.
Coach, I'm curious. Every season, the team's different. We know that. From your perspective, what do you think has surprised you the most, whether it's good or bad, about this year's team so far?
I mean, it's just, I think the good is that, we had so many issues, early in the season, and we had guys out, unavailable. We were struggling, and the way the guys just didn't give in and, made that commitment the last month. We've been a different basketball team. So it's, you don't want to be around or with people that give up or give in ever. So the fact that they approached it that way, that it meant enough for them to fight for their season the way they have the last month, has been highly impressive to me. And I'm just hopeful that, we keep seeing that we play the right way and are about the right things, that, we're going to get good results.
It seems like Alonzo Gaffney's done a better job of picking his shots. There were games before he shoot 2 for 12 or whatever, but it seems like he's been better about picking and choosing his spots when he's shooting.
Yeah, I mean, now he's becoming a player that and I touched on this in prior, conversations with you guys about the shots he makes, key moments, and he had another couple of key baskets to kind of break the game open for us. Great touch shot in the paint, and then Frankie threw a beautiful pass that he nailed the shot. So we trust him. He's going to take certain shots. The impact of what he does is not reflected, though, in whether he makes shots or not. Like, he is a energy guy that is very unique with his length and the deflections, and what he brings to our pressure on the point of the press and stuff that he does is really doesn't always show up in the box score.
You mentioned last week this is one of the more challenging weeks for center backs in the Pac-12. That was a little bit of a challenge on Wednesday with Sean and Donna. Now facing another elite center like Dante. What do you want to see out of him to better contain himself composerly and then also adjust the basket?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to have his hands full with with a guy like Dante, and he's not going to be on an island with him. We have to support him when he's in there, and certainly we trust him to go toe to toe with a guy in the post with his physical, athletic ability and size. But yeah, he needs the help of his teammates, and he's just practicing well. I think. He learned a hard lesson in the UCLA game, and just his approach to practice has been better. He's been less demonstrative in how he talks in practice, and he's been more focused on playing basketball. So, I mean, that's been our message to him. But I think over time he's got such a bright future that we're going to continue to support him and help him get to where he needs to get eventually. Yeah, I mean, hats off. I mean, he could really shoot it. He's got great, I'm watching the game and I'm listening to the commentators talk about him, and it's what I'm looking at when I watch him is composure and poise for a freshman guard. He really seems to have that personality that he brings to the game. He doesn't seem to get rattled. He could really make shots. Really, really good shot maker, and one of the good young players in our conference. I mean, college basketball is different than when I played or some of my prior teams. It's COVID super seniors, mid-major guys transferring up to the power conference. Well, there aren't many freshmen that are having a great impact immediately as a freshman in the Pac-12 or a power conference. So that's a testament to how good of a player this kid is, that he's having that type of success already as a freshman at Oregon.
Coach, after Salabonga's game against USC, what are your expectations for him on this road trip?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same. I mean, he was what we recruited him to be. You know, he went after the basketball. He was relentless. He didn't get discouraged if he missed. He got his hands on the basketball again and went back up. And you know, he gave us a huge lift. I mean, he's got to go out there and just outwork his opponent. And if he does that, he's had some really nice games for us when his mind is focused on that.
You guys have had an interim AD for a couple of months. Now Arizona has one too. I think.
Sorry, what
Purely,
was that? What did you say?
now, you guys have had the interim AD. Now
Yeah,
Arizona
okay.
has one too. I think probably purely coincidental that the two big state schools have it, but does it strike you as interesting in any way? Is it something you pay attention to, or is it just like we're in the season, not something?
I mean, I saw the report and I just, you know, I was a little surprised at the timing of it, but other than that, I don't put a lot of stock into it. We all went through our situation and we're still in the midst of it, but outside of that, I don't really think about it too much.
Coach, since Thanksgiving has been kind of a season of runs for you guys. You guys win multiple or you lose multiple. It's kind of in that stretch. You guys have your one-win streak going off the UCLA or USC game. What is going to be the key to maintaining that consistency and not allowing one loss turn to 2 to 3 to 4 losses?
Yeah, wish if I had all the answers to that question. I kind of look at things game by game and just, everything I'm thinking about is Oregon and how do we compete and give ourselves a chance in a very tough environment against a very good team. And when that game's over, then I'm gonna think about the next game in Corvallis and get to that. And then after that, I'll think about the next week. And so I don't know. These things run in cycles, and sometimes they're hard to predict or project. Like, we've been very good at home. We could be undefeated at home. Last year we had a hard time at home. We were very good on the road and neutrals. This year we didn't really win many neutral games so far, but we're winning at home. So I don't know.
Coach, back in Chicago, Coach Kimbrough helped lead the Ramblers team to the Sweet 16 against Illinois. Since he's joined your staff in 2021, how has he helped guys like Frankie get better on defense, or how has he changed your defensive schemes in general?
Yeah, I think when it comes to individual players on defense, and Frankie's looking at me over there right now like, hey, you better say the right thing. But Frankie wants to play defense, and he wants to guard somebody who takes pride in that end of the floor. He's got great natural instincts, so I'm not, and that's why you're seeing where his steal numbers are. But in terms of overall defensive philosophy and concepts and teaching those concepts and game planning for our opponent, he's lights out at that end, and just give him a lot of leeway to put together and develop those game plans defensively. Our players trust, what he's teaching, and you're seeing that, reveal itself on the floor.